Hello everybody, this is Prashant Solomon and I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on a couple of things. So first I'm going to talk to you about UFOs and UAPs, and what I feel is pretty obvious that we're approaching closer towards open disclosure, which I feel could happen at any time. We've noticed a lot more openness in the mainstream media, in the government, especially of the US, where people have come forward. You've had people from the military come forward. You've had other people who are sort of assigned a role in the US government to investigate these things. They have come forward. They have testified in the Congress. I think it was a year or 2 years ago.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
In the halls of Congress, Navy pilots are speaking out.
This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains. We were seeing objects with our radars, with our cameras, and even with our eyes flying on an almost daily basis.
We're very sensitive to how things turn and how things accelerate and how things move. And this didn't follow any of those laws of physics.
As of 2023, military and commercial pilots have reported seeing 801 objects they couldn't identify.
When we're talking about having an unidentified thing in our airspace, whether it's directly overhead or in our coastal waters, we need to figure out, is this an issue of flight safety? Is this an issue of national security? Is this an adversary spying on us?
Just a couple of weeks ago, I watched something on YouTube about a guy who, he was being, there was a discussion happening in Congress. Now, I don't remember the name of the person, but I will look it up and I will share not only the video, but also the name of the person in the description box below. He was talking to somebody, some congressperson, and he even went to the extent of saying that the government is in touch with multiple races of extraterrestrials, not just one, but multiple. And that makes a lot of sense because, when we talk about aliens or UFOs or extraterrestrials and things like that, generally the image that comes to mind is that of the gray, which big heads, big eyes, no hair, just slits for mouths and nose and ears, and short, so which we generally refer to as the grays. And the grays are only one particular species. There are a lot of others, and it makes a lot of sense because, the galaxy has 400 billion stars. And now we know with current science that most of those stars, in all likelihood, have at least one planet, all right? We found other solar systems apart from ours. Well, I guess you wouldn't call them solar systems, but star systems, because solar implies soul, and which means the sun. So I guess, yes, star systems, which we call as extrasolar planets, which are around several other stars that we've already discovered, and now they feel that planets are most likely the norm and not the exception to the rule, right? So if you have 400 billion stars in this galaxy, that is a huge number of stars. That's about something like close to 60 stars per person, on planet Earth. If you just do the maths, there are 8 billion people. If there are 400 billion, so that's 50 stars per person, okay? Anyhow, coming back to what we were talking about, we've seen the famous videos of the Tic Tac video and other videos where Air Force pilots, or they were either Air Force and Navy pilots, they were chasing these crafts which looked like a Tic Tac, and they were moving at phenomenal speeds, and they were not really being constrained by any of the regular physics that sort of constrains us in our movements. Even with our most advanced crafts, we don't have any crafts that can move that fast, and and take turns at such a sharp angle, things like that. So they have no clue what it is, right? So that plus this most recent discussion in the U.S. Congress where the guy was talking about multiple races of extraterrestrials, and it's pretty obvious that we're not alone in this galaxy or in this universe, and remember that the galaxy that we live in, the Milky Way, is only one out of approximately 2 trillion galaxies that we know about. All right, that we know about. There are definitely a lot more, and now there are theories, and they're pretty much getting more and more acceptance that our galaxy, our universe also is not the only one. Now there are also more and more theories that even our universe, in all likelihood, is not the only universe, that there are multiple universes and all kinds of things. There could be multiple physical universes, which are in our dimension. There could be multiple universes in other dimensions, which altogether, everything we can call it the multiverse, and it's pretty silly for us to ever think that we are the only planet with life. I think most people today accept that there are definitely other planets and other intelligences, other living beings on other planets, not only in this physical universe, but also in different dimensions, right? So we have talks of even interdimensional beings now, all right, which was not a very common thing back in the 90s and early 2000s. People pretty much sort of identified an extraterrestrial as somebody from another physical planet, but now there's more and more talk about extradimensional entities that have traveled to our dimension for whatever reason, we don't know. There are all kinds of theories about that as well. Maybe they've come to protect us. Maybe they've come to sort of make sure that we don't screw up. Because back when the first major UFO sighting, the most famous UFO sighting was back in 1947, the Roswell sighting, and in particular, it was after 1945 when the U.S. Ended World War II, dropping atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was after 1945 that a lot of UFO sightings started happening and being reported, and many of those sightings were actually at military or near military bases, and many of those military bases were also where nuclear bombs were stored. So if these people who are coming, or these extraterrestrials who started coming in the late 40s, obviously there was something to do with our military presence that they were concerned about. So maybe they're here to protect us from killing each other and putting an end to this world. Maybe they're just here to observe us, or maybe it's a combination of both. And I've always wondered, why haven't they revealed themselves? If they're actually coming here, why haven't they revealed themselves to us yet? Well, one reason could be that they think that we're not mature enough, that we're not ready for it. Maybe they want us to reach a certain level, maybe of spirituality, or maybe they want us to reach a certain level of understanding and good behavior towards each other before they openly reveal themselves. And maybe they feel that we are not, that we don't want to be contacted right now. There's also a theory that there's a sort of a code where civilizations are not supposed to be interfered with by higher civilizations or more advanced civilizations, because obviously if these extraterrestrials are visiting us, whether they're coming from another physical planet somewhere, they're coming through wormholes or whatever is their technology, or they're coming from some other dimension, But if it's a controlled movement, then obviously they are far, far more advanced than us human beings are. So, yeah, that is one thing. Now, what would happen when extraterrestrials openly either reveal themselves or our governments openly disclose that we are not alone? Well, first of all, it will be the most significant thing, in my mind at least, that has ever happened to the human race, because for the first time in history we will be certain that we are not alone in this universe, and that there are many, many other worlds where life exists. So it will immediately open our horizons. It will open our horizons and open our dreams, for lack of a better word, wide dreams, because suddenly people will start thinking about doing something that will get us to those other planets, right? So something like what Elon Musk is doing today, developing spacecraft that can go to Mars and stuff like that. I think if we come to know that we're not alone in this universe, a lot of our people are going to focus towards discovering some way of getting there, It would change our philosophy. It would probably change our religious beliefs to a certain degree. I personally believe that it'll be a good thing, because it will expand our horizons completely. It'll move us from considering ourselves to be an earth-centric, spirituality, if you want to call it that, or religion, to a much more broader picture. That when we realize that the creator or the source or God or whatever you want to call that power is not confined only to earth, but has created this huge, massive thing, this creation, this multiverse. And it would definitely make us more, I feel, it should make us come closer to each other as well, because suddenly we would realize that we're not alone, and there are good things and there are bad things about knowing that, because the bad things are that if an alien race came here which was not friendly, then how would we defend ourselves? So back in the 80s, President Reagan said once in the UN that he said, and I think I'll put a clip of that video, but he basically said that nothing would unite us quicker than having an alien presence here.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
So, as you saw in the clip there, maybe he was giving us a hint, maybe he knew something. And for some reason, all these presidents all over the world, and particularly in the US, all the presidents that have come, they haven't really talked about this subject openly as of now. I don't know the reason behind that, but I hope that soon we will hear that there's an official confirmation about this, that we're not alone, and that would open up a huge wave of possibilities for us in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of research, in terms of philosophy, in terms of spirituality, in terms of everything. It would just suddenly make us realize that we are part of a much larger living universe, and we would feel a yearning to meeting those other people. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about today, and we'll have more videos on this topic soon.